Chris Mutsvanga seems to be a now staunch supporter of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. He seems to have made his decision, and he was yesterday kept through celebrations where Chris Mutsvanga took a swipe at retired General Chiwenga. Of course, not directly so. I think there are numerous ZANU-PF officials who decided to go after retired General Chiwenga. Now, it must be understood. I think I've played some videos before, even during his press conference, lying to the members of the public on why they decided to allow Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa to be the president up to 2030. And yesterday I played a video which categorically stated that now Harare province would be pushing for a resolution for him to go up to 2037. So it appears these resolutions that are self-centered, that are actually pushing the interest of one family, they are going to be the permanent feature in the lifetime of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, unless someone stops him. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So Chris Mutsvanga, speaking at the Mutare Constitutional Amendment Act number 3 celebrations during a ZANU-PF celebration rally, he said the reasons why they opted for Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa to be given time to lead Zimbabwe beyond his constitutionally prescribed 2-term limits by hook or crook is because they noticed that by 2028, when Chiwenga was going to be the president, foreign enemies were going to interfere with the internal politics of ZANU-PF. He went a step up to say all this all this was actually foreseen by Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, that the so-called struggle was going to be hijacked. And as such, Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, he said it as a senior liberation liberator, according to him, of which all veterans have categorically stated that Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa did not participate during the war of the liberation struggle. The supporters of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa are of the view that he did participate. So he says Mnangagwa foresaw that if Chiwenga was going to be president in 2028, there were foreign enemies who were ready to interfere with the ZANU-PF internal politics. That's why Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa had to fight to remain in power. This is hogwash. This is silly. And I can attest to you that this is just a mere political statement. ZANU-PF has no justifiable reasons why Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is staying in power beyond his constitutionally prescribed mandate. There is absolutely no logical reasons. If you hear the reasons that have been advanced by the likes of Themba Mliswa, that was COVID, so some of the years of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa were disturbed, and as such, he deserved to be given 2 additional years. Chris Mutsvanga is coming with his own view that the enemies of Zimbabwe, it's so-called, and it must be said emphatically that Zimbabwe has no enemies. There are no enemies of Zimbabwe that are known. This is the propaganda, cheap propaganda, by the way, that ZANU-PF has been selling to the gullible citizens of Zimbabwe. And I'm saying this should only be believed by gullible citizens of Zimbabwe. There is absolutely no enemies of Zimbabwe. If there is anything, they are friends of Zimbabwe who are against the leadership of ZANU-PF that has been trampling on the rights of the citizens of Zimbabwe. So in simple terms, it's quite clear when Chris Mutsvanga says if retired General Chiwenga came through, the foreign enemies were going to interfere in Zimbabwe. In simple terms, he is saying Chiwenga is an enemy. Chiwenga is working with the enemies of Zimbabwe. He is labeling as a traitor. That is what he is simply saying. And there is absolutely no logical reasons that they are advancing of Emerson Mnangagwa leading the country beyond the constitutionally prescribed term limit. And by virtue of him not having a reason, it showed that whatever he is doing, it is simply an experiment. Unfortunately, they have been getting away with it, but they are scared, as you have noticed during their celebrations. All of them kept on intimidating the people of Zimbabwe. If you are actually a leader of the people, selected by those people, you don't lead through fear, as it is. Emerson Mnangagwa is governing Zimbabwe through fear. And that is what they do. They control Zimbabwe through fear. Once Zimbabwe actually regain their faith and begin to see that these people are weak without their support, without their endorsement, that's the day ZANU-PF will fall. So Chris Mutsvanga, I think it's known, he has been we've seen him on numerous occasions taking on retired General Chiwenga. So it doesn't come as a surprise to label Chiwenga as a traitor. He has done so numerous times. In fact, he has said the worst things about retired General Chiwenga. And another time, he was attacking him based on the pronunciation of the words that he actually does. He has actually been attacked left, right, and center, especially by the ZANU-PF spokesperson, that is Chris Mutsvanga, and lies associated with the justification of the illegal constitutional amendment bill number 3 of 2026. I think they are. It's something logic to send Zimbabweans. We expect ZANU-PF. They have said, by the way, they were going to achieve this through hook or crook. That is what the current minister of local government, Daniel Gawe, said consistently, that they are going to actually ensure that Emerson Mnangagwa remains in power through hook or crook. Said it several times. So this is hook and crooked nature of ZANU-PF that is being exposed at the moment. So that's why they cannot speak one language. Someone is trying to justify it in his own way. So, when you do something wrong and you don't have a reason to justify why you did something wrong or why you are supporting something wrong, you act like the likes of Chris Mutsvanga. So there is absolutely no evidence that when Chiwenga was going to lead Zimbabwe post Emerson Mnangagwa, the enemies of Zimbabwe were going to actually infiltrate the government of Zimbabwe. By the way, who are those enemies? There are no enemies in Zimbabwe. We have got sanctions in Zimbabwe because the government of the day does not allow the people of Zimbabwe to express themselves. They are undermining the rights of the citizens of Zimbabwe, including the right to actually, someone says Mutsvanga must check his record, including the right to actually life is threatened by the existence of ZANU-PF. That is why the Friends of Zimbabwe have decided to put in place sanctions to make sure that ZANU-PF actually suffocate. There is absolutely no other logic of sanctions in Zimbabwe, in spite of the fact that they do exist to put pressure on the regime of Emerson Mnangagwa to respect the rights of the citizens of Zimbabwe. Once that is guaranteed, the friends of the ordinary people, powerless people of Zimbabwe, they are going to definitely remove those sanctions. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and stars. Okancubo Mhlabane is